So here's the big picture. Google has officially launched Jules, powered by Gemini 2.5 Pro, is an asynchronous AI coding agent that works in secure Google Cloud VMs to handle bug fixes, new features, testing, and pull requests. You give it a task and it quietly works in the background, delivering a complete plan, reasoning, and changes without you hovering over it. Packed with critic-augmented code review, runtime, GitHub integration, environment snapshots, automated web app testing, interactive planning, multimodal support, and natural language processing, Jules is available in free, pro, and ultra tiers to boost productivity for developers of all levels. Jules isn't just about speed, it's about autonomy. During its beta phase, which started back in May 2025, thousands of developers used it to tackle tens of thousands of tasks. We're talking bug fixes, feature builds, writing tests, and more. In fact, that beta alone generated over 140,000 public code improvements. Google listened to feedback, squashed hundreds of bugs, and added some seriously cool features, like faster task execution by reusing prior setups, GitHub issues integration, and even multimodal support so it can handle different types of inputs, like images. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Jules comes with this thing called critic-augmented generation. Think of it like Jules having its own personal code reviewer. A little voice in its head saying, "Are you sure that's the best way?" Before any code gets to you, this built-in critic challenges the output, looking for subtle bugs, missed edge cases, inefficient algorithms, or security risks. If it spots a problem, Jules doesn't just ship it. It goes back, revises, and polishes until that critic is satisfied. It's basically quality control baked into the creative process, which means you get fewer sloppy pull requests and better test coverage right out of the gate. What's cool about the critic is that it's not just a linter running static rules, and it's not just passing tests. It understands intent and context. It's closer to a peer developer who's deeply familiar with best practices and isn't afraid to call out issues. That means it can say, "Hey, this works, but it's doing it in ON swear when it could be ON." Or "This code passes the tests, but fails in an edge case you didn't consider." And all of this happens before you even see the patch. Here's how it works behind the scenes. You prompt Jules to do something. The critic reviews the generated patch in one pass, points out flaws, and then Jules fixes them before showing you the final result. The process is inspired by actor-critic reinforcement learning, where one model creates and another evaluates. But here, it's not about training over time, it's about improving the current output on the fly. Think of it as giving your AI assistant its own conscience. Of course, this wouldn't be as exciting if Jules wasn't also packed with other workflow-friendly features. Jules 2.0, which is the big public release, supports the bun runtime, meaning if you're working in modern JavaScript frameworks, you can get projects running faster without extra setup. It can manage pull requests directly, so you're not bouncing between tools. It lets you take environment snapshots so you can reuse configurations across tasks, which is a lifesaver for consistency. And it even does automated web app testing, including visual feedback, so you can catch UI issues early. And here's the part I really like. It's not just for hardcore developers. The free tier is actually pretty robust, making advanced AI coding support accessible to beginners or casual users. You can literally type in plain English what you want built, and Jules will figure it out. That's thanks to its natural language processing abilities, which break down barriers for people who might not be comfortable with command line interfaces. So yes, this could be the tool that helps a small business owner spin up a custom app without hiring a full dev team. By the way, if you're enjoying this deep dive into Jules and you want to stay ahead of the curve with the latest AI breakthroughs, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. I've got more videos coming that'll keep you up to speed on the tools that are actually changing the game. All right, back to Jules. One of the standout improvements from the beta is just how much more refined it feels. The interface is cleaner, task execution is faster, and its GitHub integration is seamless. You can have it working in the background on one project while you focus on another, and when it's ready, it'll open a pull request for you to review. Because it runs in sandboxed Google Cloud VMs, you don't have to worry about it messing with your local environment or leaking your private code. Google's made a big point about privacy here, saying Jules doesn't train on your private repos and keeps everything isolated. Now, let's talk real-world impact. In big engineering teams, a lot of time is lost to repetitive maintenance work, fixing minor bugs, updating dependencies, adding tests. Jules takes that load off, freeing developers to focus on the creative, high-value parts of building software. Early feedback from developers has been glowing, with some calling it a silent teammate that ships code while you sleep. But there's also healthy caution. Some folks worry about over-relying on AI for critical decisions. Google's aware of that, which is why the critic feature and the ability for humans to review before merging are such key parts of the design. Competition-wise, yes, it's going up against GitHub Copilot and other AI dev tools, but Jules is different because it's more autonomous. Copilot is great at autocomplete and code suggestions, but Jules is more of a give it the problem and let it run kind of tool. And with Google's ecosystem and data resources backing it, the potential here is massive. Even internally at Google, Jules is already in use, helping thousands of engineers work faster. That's a strong sign. It's not just a flashy launch. It's something they actually trust for real production work. And as it continues to evolve, we might see even more multi-agent capabilities, where Jules can break down big projects into subtasks and coordinate them like a little team of AIs. Of course, it's not perfect yet. Beta users reported that sometimes Jules needs clear, detailed instructions to avoid making wrong assumptions. And for heavy-duty users, the higher tier pricing might be a consideration. But the free tier is more than enough for smaller projects or anyone who just wants to experiment with AI-driven development. The bigger story here isn't just Jules itself, but what it represents. A shift toward AI agents that don't just assist you in real time, but work alongside you asynchronously, autonomously, and with a built-in quality control system. It's a glimpse at the future of software development, where human creativity and AI efficiency mesh seamlessly. And whether you're a veteran developer looking to offload repetitive work, or someone just dipping your toes into coding, Jules is worth checking out. This isn't about replacing developers. It's about supercharging them, so they can spend less time wrestling with boilerplate and more time building the next big thing.